right, let's let the Shark Tank battles begin. Hi everybody, I'm Jeannie Tarkenton. I'm co-founder of Funding You. Funding You, we make loans to students who graduate, become employed, and earn enough money to pay back their debt. Sounds pretty logical, but those underwriting analytics make us 100% unique in market at this time. All right, so let me tell you where we got started. Date myself. I was a junior in college in 1991. We still actually had to go to the library back then. And my roommate, Mackenzie, was the smartest of all of my roommates, very focused, lots of internships relating to her desired profession. But Mackenzie had a problem. Her financial aid package had been reduced by several $1,000s, and she was in a tough spot. She didn't have the money, her parents didn't have the money. Her parents could not co-sign a loan due to some personal credit issues they had. So she was faced with two pretty bleak options: put several $1,000s on a 24% APR credit card or drop out of school. So let's leave Mackenzie for a minute and come to 2017. Unfortunately, there are about 7 times as many students who are likely to be in Mackenzie's situation now, due to the fact that the cost of college has increased 900% in these years, and the average US household earnings has remained flat. The government gives direct loans to any student who applies, but for most families, this is limited to about $6,000 per year. So given the price of college, this has given rise to the gap loan market, families going to banks to finance the last part of the full cost of college. So what's the problem? So think back to Mackenzie, doing well in school, close to graduation, a few $1,000s needed to get her degree. Mackenzie doesn't have credit of her own, and she doesn't have a cosigner. She couldn't get a loan back then, she can't get a loan now. So there are about 2 to 3 million students and families each year who find themselves in this position. About 80% of applicants for student loans at banks are declined, mostly due to credit issues. So what do? Well, we're in a new era. Alternative data, behavioral analytics, predictive analytics is what many industries rely on, particularly lending. So we, in the student lending hemisphere, rely on 40 years and 1 million data points of student borrowing, default, and academic behaviors. The good news is, over 40 years, throughout recessionary times and dips in the economy, students who graduate from 4-year schools have very stable default rates of about 5.5%. Further, if you select out for certain academic behaviors, proximity to graduation, class completion rate, and other factors, the default rate gets below 3%. This is a Funding You customer right here. This is where you find the low-risk borrower in what is otherwise perceived as a high-risk cohort. We go one step further, and we ensure that all of our borrowers will have less than 15% debt-to-income ratio upon graduation. It's a pretty tough loan to get. Actually, only about 1 in 5 who apply to us will qualify. So a little more on our analytics. It's kind of common sense. About 20 variables come in from the student, including their transcript, which we verify through a third party. But our algorithm takes in the data and spits out a score between 0 and 1,000. And essentially those who qualify are those who tend to be upperclassmen, majoring in something in which they are succeeding that has market application, and then we can project their earnings and compare it to their debt. Our underwriting algorithm is built on 20 broad-based data sources, both public and proprietary. Our data team is of 4 people who've created this algorithm over 2 years. It's now in version 5. They come to us with experience from Google, Bank of America, HBSC, and Capital One. Most of them were involved in risk and underwriting lending analytics at these institutions. We also have a very important relationship with the Education Advisory Board, our strategic partner. The Education Advisory Board has, for the last 10 years, done for its 300 university clients broad-based research studies. We get a lot of their analytics having to do with student success and markers that can indicate that a student will graduate. So that's how we make the loan, and here's how we make money. It's a very big market opportunity, even while it has social impact. The typical loan request is $10,000. We take an origination fee, a servicing fee, and spread on the interest while we hold the loan. Costs us about $150 to acquire and underwrite a student. Leaves us $650 per customer. And the icing on the cake is most customers will take 2 loans from us. They find us through loan aggregators. About 1 million searches are conducted each month for student loan no cosigner. We right now have the exclusive rights on the largest loan aggregator site, Lend.edu, to get all of that traffic. Right now, that sends us about 5,000 clicks a month. We also do some paid advertising, Google advertising and get about 20% of our customers that way. So you might be thinking, if you're like a lot of the investors I've spoken to, sounds good, but that dollar figure, she needs scale. Well, we have that. We went out into Georgia last year, 30 days of advertising. We had 1,000 applicants from 786 schools in 48 states. If we had originated all these loans, that would have been $10 million in loans in just our second month of operation. We did a small portfolio in Georgia last year. Now we're licensed in 22 states and have begun to promote the loans again. We already have 5,000 inquiries. We've gone ahead and pre-qualified $3 million in loans, the best of the borrowers who are in the batch now, sitting ready for loans next year. Funds just beginning. The student loan season goes from now through August. We anticipate by the end of August, we will have demand for $600 million in loans from 30,000 applicants, which nets out to $39 million in revenue if we originated all those loans. I already told you how they find us, so let me give you the happy ending. Mackenzie was able to secure a loan from some alumni of her school. That was before Funding You. Now that Funding You exists, I'll show you two other happy stories. One of our borrowers from Georgia State, a borrower from Georgia Tech, both whom have graduated, become employed, and are on track to paying back their loans. So we at Funding You are very pleased to be part of student success, part of able students being able to get their degree and be able to become wage earners and producers in the society. But it's very much a market model. We can help more students because we price this to the market. We give a price that the market will buy and the market will bear. And as our students succeed, our company succeeds, and our investors succeed along with us. So that is Funding You, and thanks very much for listening to me.